Welcome back. In a time when work is becoming virtual and a lot more people are working from home, brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, about 52% of global employees now work remotely once a week, and this has led to a spike in demand for mobile devices. Meanwhile, the prices of telephones, handsets in Nigeria have risen sharply in the last 2 years. Prices of high-end phones, devices now sell for about 902,000 naira, while lower-end phones have remained relatively flat across board. I have joining me to discuss this Olufunto Ajenifuja, analyst at financial derivatives company. Hello, Funto. Thank you for joining us in the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, so Funto, apart from the demand, what else is driving the surge in the price of phones, devices?
Okay, so to respond, I'm going to talk a little bit about demand. So as we know, phones have become indispensable. Things that used to be luxury items before are now necessary to go through life. And now phones are becoming more tech savvy. You know, there are more innovative features there. So those are the main things that are driving the prices, because I doubt you would have paid 900 and something thousand for a phone in 2017. But now you have phones that are waterproof, that have better battery life. You know, there's a difference between, you know, things that the urban subscriber wants and the rural subscriber. So we're seeing in urban areas that they are more sophisticated to understand that it makes more economic sense to pay a premium price for a phone. So that's why we're seeing that despite how high these prices are going, people are still wanting to buy them, you know, especially the wealthy people. You know, of course, you want a phone that you are able to flip and put in your pocket and, you know, it drops and it doesn't smash. So, you know, even though there are certain things causing other things that are causing a rise in prices, such as, you know, a shortage of certain smartphone components, you know, 5G-enabled networks. When these 5G phones gain popularity, the demand is going to increase, and people are going to have to pay for that technology. So prices are going to increase, but we're seeing that the demand remains inelastic because phones are indispensable. Like, people do everything with their phones.
You talked about the urban population. What about the rural areas? What's the level of penetration in that area?
It's high because, like I said, everyone uses phones. They might not, in the rural areas, they might not use the most latest high-end premium value phone, but they still use phones. And you know, we're seeing telemasts being put up in the rural areas. You know, even Nigeria, so in January, the broadband penetration increased to 41.6%, and this is quite significant in comparison to the 20-odd% that was recorded in 2017, that people are using these phones. They might not use these high-tech phones because, you know, they need to make calls, you know, with payments. They might not be able to use mobile banking apps on those phones, but they can take advantage of the USSD platform on low-end, low-value phones. It doesn't have to be a smartphone before you can make payments. Like, I'll give an analogy, and this is also applicable to those in the rural area. If you were to leave the house with, like, if you were to forget your phone or you were to forget your card, you're most likely to go back home if you forgot your phone, because you can't do anything without the phone. You can only use your card for one thing, where you can use your phone for so many things. You know, in the rural areas, you know, Nigeria has a national broadband plan, and they aim to get the broadband penetration to 70% by 2025, and it focuses on both the urban areas and the rural areas. You know, download speeds, 4G coverage, because only 37% of the population have access to 4G coverage in Nigeria. So the government is pushing that. That's why I said you see, like, telemasts being put up in rural areas, and yeah, you know, there's a focus on financial inclusion, and you need phones for that.
So if we do need phones, and you say people in rural areas don't need to have high-end phones or sophisticated phones, what if I decide that I want to live in, if I have 5G network come on board right now, and I want to move to, say, or somewhere remote, and I want to work from there and just maybe commute to work, maybe by train or something. So you're saying that I would not get maybe the best if I don't have money maybe to splurge on maybe a very sophisticated phone, so I wouldn't be able to join the working team or the trend. Would I be able to jump on that? Especially, I'm talking with inflation, which is really high. How are people able to afford these phones that can help them work from remote areas and still be part of, you know, work, society, and the rest of it?
Okay, so I think this is kind of where fintech companies come in as well. You know, they are creating technologies that are able to accommodate lower end phones. You don't need to have, you know, I don't want to mention brands, but you don't need to have like this 900 and 2000 full. You don't need to have that before you'll be able to do that. So I feel as long as you have a smartphone, even if it's the mid-range price of, there are smartphones that go for 40,000, 60,000, that you're still able to video chat, you're still able to surf, to search on the internet and things like that. So they would be able to. And like I said, there's more work being done. So there's more rural patronage going on. There's the rural penetration is expected to rise with some of the new technology that's coming in.
Okay, talking of technology now, with the war in Ukraine, we're seeing disruptions in supply, we're seeing global chip shortages. And what is the outlook for prices globally in general? What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, so the main thing that the war is doing is causing a price hike in, certain metals and certain minerals that go into the production of these phones. And obviously that will increase the cost of production, and you would expect that that would reflect in the price. But I think what some of these manufacturers might do is they might just ease on production a little bit so that they don't have to charge super high prices to the consumer. Also, like I said, because of the trends we're seeing with the demand and prices, people want these exciting new, these exciting new features. And I feel like if these companies are able to deliver that, especially the wealthy, they would be willing to pay if the prices go up. But I feel like the manufacturers might try and just ease on production, just so that, to keep the price kind of stabilized. But if you're buying a phone that has, the most expensive Gorilla Glass on the screen, you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay for that feature. Like I said, people are becoming sophisticated to understand that there are certain premium features in a device that they have to pay for. Like, for example, you see a lot of kids using tablets and stuff like that. And, a family might have 3 kids and they all have their tablets. That's obviously a huge expense, but it's better value for money because you keep your kids entertained. They're all, learning. They can do so much from that device. So I feel like even if prices go up, the demand remained inelastic, and not just for phones, for laptops, for tablets, for
any mobile device.
Any mobile device
that can help work.
Yes.
So essentially, what you're saying is we can't do without these mobile devices because they've come to be a part of our everyday lives, and definitely we hope we'll continue to be able to fund it.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Funto Olufunto Ajenifuja. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me.